Welcome, guys, to another episode of Burning Hints Fantasy Football. We're talking about regular football today, post the legendary end of a really, really weird fantasy season. But we're just going to go over this year's playoff predictions and go over our preseason predictions. So we had a little snafu in the predictions because the website was all messed up and actually cut out our seven seeds for some reason. So that's why they're all wrong in the playoff brackets. It's not because of our genius. Um, but let's just go over yours first because I got yours popped out here. You had Ravens as the one seed. You had a surprise with the Patriots as the three seed somehow getting a bye, and the Broncos as the two seed not getting a bye, as we said with the playoff
Playoff
snafu.
run.
And
Mhm.
then four seed Colts, five seed Chiefs, six seed you said Chargers, right?
Yeah.
And then you had the seven seed as the Bills. Not bad, not bad.
For the record, I had the Bills winning 10 games for that.
Yeah,
Sevens. So, I mean, actually, I think I might even had them winning. No, I think it was 10. So, I had them winning 10 for that. So, I didn't have them having a bad season. I just thought the Patriots would be better.
yeah, it's not that bad. Plus you got Chargers, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. The
Yeah.
one tough one's the Bengals, not having the Bengals. But Colts, I
Yeah.
mean, who knew what was going to happen? Broncos, a lot of people had the Broncos going pretty far. And that was weird. And Patriots were a game away. I mean, I would say the Patriots right now I'd rather have than the Dolphins. So
Oh, yeah, for sure.
yeah, without Tua, so that's tough. Um, NFC, you were like kinda you had like some smart stuff here. You had the Rams really low at the sixth seed, which was nice. Packers. I remember when you did this, you were like, I'm hoping that the Packers do like I'm putting the Packers as doing really well in hopes that they don't do that. So it was like
Yes.
a double edged sword there. But you
And
had
it
the
worked perfectly.
yeah, it worked perfectly. And then you have the Eagles as the two seed. Pretty good, pretty good. Niners winning their division, correct. Cowboys at the five seed, exactly correct. You had the Buccaneers winning their division, totally correct. And then the seven seed, I think you had the Cardinals. You said right.
Yeah, I did have the Cardinals in there. So,
My seven seed was also the Cardinals. It's sort of a you know who knew that the Rams and the Cardinals would be absolute terror. That whole division was just impossible to predict. Is that for the
yeah,
Niners?
I don't think anyone was guessing the Seahawks would be in the playoffs.
No, I don't think. I remember some guy had him as the first overall pick. I think most people had him a top five pick. So it
Yeah.
was
And
kind of
not the top
crazy.
5 pick that they get from the Broncos.
So do you have any confidence in? I guess Patriots aren't going very far. Packers aren't going very
No,
far. But
I
Eagles
mean,
and Niners
honest,
could see each other, and the Ravens could
yeah,
still go. But now Lamar's not playing.
yeah. I mean, really, the Eagles are kind of like my favorite out of like my early season with what I thought they were and where they are now. Ravens at this point, again, another team that I think I'd rather have the Patriots and then the Ravens without Lamar and Gus Edwards is also going to be out. It sounds like.
Yeah, and I remember you were super high in Trey Lance for the Niners. Do you think that the what you had envisioned for Niners right now is better or worse than with Brock Purdy right now?
I think it's worse than what I like. I think
You envisioned.
Purdy right now as the starter is worse than what I saw with Trey Lance.
Yeah, I can see that. You feel like the ceiling with the mobile quarterback is still next level with
Yeah.
Shanahan. We'll
I
see if
also
we ever
still
see that
think
day.
he's a better. I think that once Lance is out there, I think that we'll realize that he's also a better passer than Purdy is.
Well, he's got another year to prep it. Was it a broken ankle, right? It wasn't like
Uh,
an
I
ACL, I don't think.
think it was an ankle.
Yeah, so at least it's not a muscle tear. So at least it's not like, oh, he's got to really worry about. Not that it'll be easy, but less concerning. So I'll bring mine up and resize it because it's giganto. I had the Bills winning here. I sort of did what you did because I hate Tom Brady and you hate Aaron Rodgers, and I put the Bucks going really far, hoping that I'm wrong. And this, didn't work as well as for you, but I still feel like it worked out okay. But
Yeah.
going through my playoffs, we were pretty similar, except I mean, we both had the Ravens as like a top seed going pretty far. I don't know. I felt like the Bills were the team of destiny, and I still feel that way, especially with the Hamlin stuff. Chiefs doing business, but I definitely feel stronger with the Chiefs now than I did in the preseason. Bengals, I probably feel stronger now, but it was more like I was really hot on the Ravens because I remember we were both big on Lamar going pretty far.
Yeah.
Chargers, they look about what I think we all expected, maybe a little bit worse, and then the Colts. I mean, yeah, it's tough. I feel
I
like, man,
think
if they,
everyone was expecting Matt Ryan to be more than what he was.
yeah, and also I don't know. I feel like if they didn't fire Reich, they probably would have more than 4 wins right now.
That's also true.
Not saying they would make the playoffs, but they wouldn't be that far off.
Actually, I can guarantee you that they would have more than 4 wins because they would not have blown the Vikings game.
That is true. Yeah, yeah. I just think, I mean, they beat the Chiefs with Frank Reich. So
Yeah.
come on. So I mean, I feel okay. I feel like if Lamar was healthy, I'd have that chance of that prediction. But I'm glad to still have the Bills somewhat alive and solid. Pretty
Yeah.
happy. The AFC was a little bit easier because I didn't. I forget what. Well, my 17 was the Patriots,
Mhm.
so I was almost close, very close. I'm surprised I didn't have the Broncos. I feel like in another bracket, I definitely had the Broncos because I was pretty high on them. But
Yeah.
that division is just insane. And then plus the North. And then if you look on the NFC, I was still a lot higher on the Rams. I was disappointed to see the Rams this bad. Niners felt like, they're definitely better than what I thought they were going to be, but I thought they were going to make the playoffs. My most proud one is the Vikings, because I actually had the Vikings starting like 7-1 or 8-1,
Yeah. You were spot on with that one.
and just falling apart. They were 12-5, beating the tiebreaker on the Packers to win the division. So I was like, dang, all right. And then the Eagles, I sort of had. I wasn't high on the Cowboys, and my 7 seed was the Cardinals too. And I just felt like the division was gonna suck again. But I guess I don't know. It's weird those divisions that like are terrible and have like a team that goes in with a losing record. Within like a year or two, they usually turn it around or are like a dominant division. So
Yeah.
hard to predict that and have confidence in that. I mean, pretty impressive that you got pretty much the Eagles and the Cowboys spot on. And then I'm pretty happy with the Vikings. So we both did okay. Not gonna hurt bang on too hard. But it's all about now. Who gets what
Yeah.
right? And I'll start. And you can finish because we'll do a middle out here. Um, so I'm gonna pull out my stuff and make it. Actually, we'll just do round by round, just because it's gonna make me a little bit easier to
Makes
show our
sense.
audience. Okay. So I am not crazy about Wildcard Weekend. Are you excited for it?
There's a few games I'm excited for, but the vast majority of them I feel like are going to be complete duds.
Okay. Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking. I was like, oh, I'm not going to be really around that much while Wildcard Weekend, but I'm not missing all that much. If Chrome will let me make it smaller. Thank you. Okay. So, I guess my most interesting pick is I'm going to have the Buccaneers being the Cowboys. Not sure how you feel
Okay.
about that. Then I'm going to go with the Giants over the Vikings. Just feel like
Okay.
Giants look pretty good right now. I'll have the Niners destroy the Seahawks. I don't feel like that's any issue. Bills destroy the Dolphins, especially now with Skylar Thompson. Lamar's out. We're going Bengals. And then I'm not that confident in the Jaguars. I'm not that confident in the Chargers. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
No, no, no. It's more, I don't know, I guess I'm like so about both, but I definitely have more confidence in the Jaguars than the Chargers. So how do you feel about, or what are your picks? Just do it that.
So for me, starting in the NFC, 100% agree. 49ers are just going to run over the Seahawks. I don't even see that really being a game. I started off with this thinking Vikings are going to lose this game to the Giants, but the more and more that I see people picking the Giants to win, I'm going Vikings here. The Vikings will win this game. purely because everyone thinks they won't. They
You
will
like
look
be
like
the
a good team.
contrarian of the contrarian.
They will look like a good team, and people will be like, "Oh wow, they might be able to beat the 49ers the next week," and I can already tell you they won't. Um, but then a lot. I've been seeing some people pull up the Buccaneers making that upset, but I don't see it. That team is so bad, and Dallas is a really solid football team all around. So I think Dallas wins that game. So
Yeah, I think it's more. I just want Mike McCarthy to get fired. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Um,
and then my AFC teams, Bills are gonna blow out. Bengals are gonna blow out the Ravens because you don't have your starting QB. And then this is gonna shock you, but I'm going Jacksonville. Um,
you want Jacksonville? That's not that
yeah,
surprising.
I mean, I figured it would be surprising for me because I'm not a huge
Oh yeah, well I feel like
Jacksonville or
you've turned
Trevor
the
Lawrence
corner.
guy.
You've turned the corner.
But I mean, this is a matchup that we saw early in the season, and the final score of that was 38-10 Jacksonville.
Yeah, it just feels. I don't know. It's hard to have confidence in this Chargers team.
Yeah, the Chargers I feel like are that team that just burn you every single time that you get faith in them.
Yeah,
Um, so I'm going Jacksonville for that.
I wouldn't mind if they win, but I'm not gonna bet on them. All right. So we're gonna actually move on and have you start off with the divisional round. We've got Bills, Bengals, Chiefs, Jags, and then a Cowboys, Eagles, Vikings, Niners rematch from a couple years ago.
Wait, Cowboys should be playing the Eagles for
Eagles.
me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cowboys,
Okay.
Eagles, Vikings, Niners.
Okay. Um, so we'll go Jaguars, Chiefs first. I think the Chiefs win that. I don't really think it's going to be too much of a matchup. Um, and then I really want to say the Bills, but I think the Bengals are just too hot right now, and I think that they'll win that game.
Dang, that's surprising.
Um, I really, really want to be able to say the Bills, but I have a feeling that the Bengals win that game. Um, and then my NFC matchups, I have Vikings 49ers, and I can already tell you the 49ers will steamroll the Vikings because their offensive line just won't be able to keep up. And then I'm going to go with Dallas.
Oh, dang.
I think Dallas will go into Philadelphia and beat them.
Yeah, it's hard to have a lot of confidence in Philadelphia right now. I mean, it just looked kind of weird with Hurts getting hurt, and then last week was just sort of strange. That Niners game, I was it the year that they went to the Super Bowl that they destroyed Kirk Cousins. I think it was.
I think so.
Richard Sherman picked him off like twice or something. But surprising to see the Bengals. I'll go through mine real quick. It's not that different. It's not that different. Just a little more interesting, I guess, for me. So I've got Giants, Eagles, and I have the Eagles pulling that one out against the Giants. I just can't see the Giants beating them. And then Niners smoke Tom Brady. And then the only difference between me, Chiefs, it's just hard to see the Chiefs not beating the Jaguars.
Yeah,
And
I
then
can't imagine.
Team of Destiny, Buffalo Bills. If you believe the NFL is a little scripted sometimes, Damar Hamlin, it's time. It's a storyline that might happen. It might bring some conspiracy theories here, but I still think it's pretty much a coin toss between those two teams. It's so strange.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move on, and I'll do my conference championship, and you can do your conference championships. So I've got Eagles Niners. I'm gonna pick the Niners. I just don't have that much confidence in the Eagles, and I see Brock Purdy somehow getting to the Super Bowl, which is just weird. But it feels like the Niners team that last got to the Super Bowl, kind of. And then Chiefs
Yep.
Bills. I have the Bills in the rematch as Team of Destiny Bills going against the 49ers. So I'm going to reset and make sure your guys let's go. And then we're going to get a rematch of your AFC Championship, and then Cowboys Niners, the legendary rivalry once again in
Yeah.
the championship.
Um, so I this one's really tough for me for the AFC. I can't, like, the Bengals have the Chiefs number, and I don't see that stopping. I really don't want the Bengals to go back. Like, I like Joe Burrow. I just wasn't ready for them to go back again this year yet. Um, that and I hate Zach Taylor. I think he's an awful coach. Um, and if he goes back to the Super Bowl, it's less likely that he's going to get fired, and Joe Burrow will ever have a great coach. Um, so I think the Bengals make it back, unfortunately.
But yeah.
Um, and then Cowboys San Francisco is just, I like that one's going to be, it's not going to be an enjoyable game to watch. I can tell you that right now. But I think the 49ers will squeak it out.
Dang, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you didn't pick the Cowboys, but it is in San Francisco, and I agree with you with the Bengals. That's the team I'd probably least want to play in the Super Bowl and any game in the playoffs. I feel
Yeah.
like that's even I'd rather play the Niners just because you're playing Brock Purdy. I mean, the Niners are
Yeah.
scary, but I don't know. The Bengals after last year scary, and this year they just. I think that, I mean, did they start like 3-4 and then just went on like an absolute tear? It's
Yeah,
they're
they
an
won their
intriguing
last
team.
8 games of the season.
Yeah, and then I mean, it looked like they were going to beat the Bills too. So obviously it was first quarter, but pretty scary stuff from the Bengals of old franchises. So Niners Bengals. I think there was a Niners Bengals. I think two of them. And one legendary drop by the Bengals. So do you have a who do you think pulls it out?
I think the Bengals pull it out. I think
Oh,
at this point, you get to the Super Bowl and you need a quarterback that can win you the game. And the 49ers just don't have that. And I think that because the NFC is so bad, that's why they'll be able to make it through to the Super Bowl without having a real quarterback that can win you a game. But I don't see him keeping up with Joe Burrow.
yeah, and mine goes the same way. I just can't see the Bills losing to the Niners. Just too much offense. I mean, the Niners have a good defense, but I feel like it's gonna be just too much to handle, and it could be like something like just feels like sort of like the Chiefs Super Bowl, where it's just like eventually they'll get something. Except the
Yeah.
Chiefs, it really took them a while. It's scary. Um, but whenever you see these things and everyone's picking the Niners to get the NFC Championship, what's probably going to happen is they're not going to make it or not make the Super Bowl, and it's going to be interesting to see if it's not the Niners, who the hell is going to make it.
Yeah.
Because I guess maybe the Eagles, then Cowboys, but the
I'm
rest, how the hell did any of those guys make it?
I'm just throwing this out there as a scary prediction. It could be round one. The Seahawks could knock them off.
That would be hilarious.
It's it's one of those things that it's hard to beat a team twice, and they have to beat a team for the third time this year.
Yeah, that is true. And it's also just I feel like they were coming in with a lot of confidence, and Seahawks kind of turned it on the last 2 weeks when they had really needed it with their backs against the wall. There's definitely three teams I'm rooting for to see them at least in the championship, not necessarily the Super Bowl, but their conference championship, and that is the Seahawks, the Giants, and the Jaguars. So one of those three teams. Last year no one had the Bengals making the Super Bowl. They barely beat the Raiders, and they barely beat the Titans. They probably should have lost the Titans, honestly. And all of a sudden, they're a juggernaut. So maybe it's time for another team to become a juggernaut. Maybe the Jags. They've got a coach that's won one.
Hey, honestly, if those four teams that you mentioned, if it was like Jacksonville and like the Giants in the Super Bowl, I wouldn't complain.
Oh, it'd be so fun. It'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, or like Jacksonville, honestly, Cowboys. Seeing Jacksonville pull it up. That'd be nice. Small market versus big market.
So
Yeah, but we'll see. Always different.
yeah.
Maybe a legend is born,
I
but
think
probably
most
not.
people have Chiefs, Bills, or Bengals winning.
Yeah, one of those three at the AFC, and then it's Eagles or Niners. I feel like, and then
Yeah.
maybe some crazy Cowboys fans that aren't aren't like afraid after they put up 6 points against the Commanders. Um, but anything else you want to bring up before we wrap it up?
If you're in the Dynasty League, go take the poll. I still need 4 more people to take it.
Yeah, I
And
think. I mean, we'll come up with some sort of idea because the draft isn't the draft like right after the actual draft?
it's a week after the actual draft, and we're gonna do a slow draft again.
Ooh, okay. And we can do a little preview of that. That's fun. Keeps stuff
Yeah,
interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Bears do. We'll see. Lots of wheeling
yeah.
and
A lot
dealing,
of
I
off
hope.
season talk.
Yeah, go talk to Scott Fitter of the Carolina Panthers.
And Connor, you are invited into a podcast at some point to celebrate your championship in the Dynasty League. Back-to-back champions.
Connell Strange, give me invite first. Dang. Let's see if he ruins it for everyone else. All right. We'll see you guys in probably next week, but at least in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.